Magic Johnson reveals the truth no one wants to admit. Larry Bird didn't just beat players, he broke them mentally. See why every NBA star feared him on and off the court.
But I'd have to agree with Rodman. If he was black, he'd be just another good guy.
Let me tell you the real reason players feared Larry.
Isaiah Thomas once called him a basic white boy. But Magic Johnson knew the truth. Larry Bird was a psychological beast who could break the NBA's toughest players and beat teams just for fun. From the 13-ton gravel accident at his mom's house that secretly ended his career to the 1991 phone call that showed only Bird could save Magic's life. Everyone in the NBA feared him. It all started with one game that changed everything. Magic didn't just walk onto the court in the early 80s expecting to win easily. He had a routine that seems almost crazy today. Every morning, before coffee, breakfast, or practice, he'd grab the newspaper to check Larry Bird's stats from the night before. This wasn't just curiosity, it was strategy, like a soldier studying an enemy he knew was unstoppable. Now, let's go back to 1979. Magic Johnson's obsession with Larry Bird didn't start in the NBA. It started in the 1979 Division I Men's College Championship. Michigan State versus Indiana State. Magic versus Bird. This wasn't just any college game. Over 35 million people watched it, more than most TV shows today. The tension was off the charts. Bird, a small-town kid from French Lick, Indiana, had dragged an unknown team into the national spotlight. Magic was the confident star of Michigan State. It was flash versus grit, city versus small town, charisma versus pure obsession. Every sports cliche in one game, in the end, Magic won 75-64. On paper, he outplayed Bird with 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists. But even in the loss, Bird didn't show fear. He didn't complain. People said he looked like he was already thinking 5 steps ahead. That unnerved Magic. Bird had been unstoppable all season, averaging nearly 29 points and 15 rebounds. He carried a team that no one cared about onto the biggest stage in college basketball. Even though Magic won, he later admitted that Bird was the only player who genuinely made him nervous before tip-off. And this is a guy who was about to change the NBA forever. The first time Magic faced Bird, he realized, this guy is a real problem. Fast forward a few months, they both enter the NBA. At that time, the league was struggling. Ratings were low, and finals games sometimes aired on tape delay. The NBA needed heroes. And suddenly, they got a rivalry that felt bigger than basketball. Magic joined a Lakers team stacked with stars like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Norm Nixon, ready to compete. Bird joined a Celtics team that had finished 29-53 the season before, a complete mess. Then Bird, as a rookie, averaged 21 points and 10 rebounds, and Boston jumped to 61 wins, 32 more than the year before. One player changed a franchise overnight. And he didn't do it with flashy dunks. He did it with fundamentals, smarts, and unshakable confidence. Then came the Rookie of the Year race. Magic put up big numbers, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists per game on a stacked team. But Bird led the Celtics to wins, dominated on both ends, and won the award. Magic noticed. From that moment, what could have been just a rivalry became something deeper. It became psychological. This was the moment the fear began. Players can handle someone dunking on them or beating them with athleticism. What they can't handle is someone who sees their next move before they do. Someone who makes the floor feel smaller, their mistakes bigger, and their failures unavoidable. Bird was already doing that in 1980, and it wasn't just stats or awards. This tension spilled into practices, scouting reports, and team meetings. Magic had a plan around Bird. Every move, every game, every matchup became a mental battle. By the time the Celtics were back in contention, Magic was living in Bird's shadow in a way no one outside the locker room could truly see. But that was just the beginning. What Bird did on the court, off the court, and in the heads of players across the league escalated in ways no one, not even Magic, could have predicted. Most NBA players use trash talk to pump themselves up. With Bird, it was different. It was prophetic. He would tell you exactly how he was going to ruin your night, down to the square inch of the court he'd stand on, and then he would do it. That was the trap. If a man tells you his entire game plan, and you still can't stop it, you're not just losing a game. You're losing your status as a player. It got even crazier in 1986 at the very first NBA three-point contest. The best shooters in the world were there: Craig Hodges, Dale Ellis, guys who live for deep shots, all try to focus and calm their nerves. Then Bird walks in, doesn't even take off his jacket, looks around with total disgust, and says, "So, which one of you is coming in second?" Boom. Just like that, he's already in your head before a single shot.
Boom! Bust the door open, walk around. You might do a little something. Nah, you ain't got. Nah, you shot yourself out in warm up. Talking about Leon Wood. He said, nah, you shot yourself out in warm up. Who coming in second?
Who came in second? That's the funny part. He didn't even care. Bird said it because, in his mind, the outcome was already decided. Then he went out and won the whole contest, still wearing his warm-up shirt. When he sank the final money ball, he didn't even watch it. He was already walking toward the trophy with his finger in the air. That was the aura he carried. But it gets darker. In 1985, the Celtics played the Atlanta Hawks. Bird dropped 60 points, but it wasn't just the points. He was running the court like a game of Simon Says. At one point, he even told the Hawks bench he'd hit a shot and land in the trainer's lap. Then he does it, nails a fading three, gets fouled, and lands perfectly in the trainer's lap. The Hawks bench, players who were supposed to stop him, were literally jumping up and down in shock. Their own coach, Mike Fratello, had to scold them the next day for cheering for the enemy. And if you think that's arrogant, wait. In 1986, before a game against Portland, Bird got bored with being the best right-handed player. He told his teammates he was going to play the whole game with his left hand. He went out there and dropped a 47-point triple-double, 20 points with his left hand.
Larry told all of us and the media, he said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed.
C-Sting for Larry Bird. Bird with the left hand, and it stays.
When reporters asked Bird why he'd do something so disrespectful, he just stared blankly and said he was saving his right hand for the Lakers. Everyone loves comparing Bird to Michael Jordan, but their styles were totally different. Jordan attacked with his body, jumping over you, driving through you, using sheer athleticism to dominate. Bird attacked your mind. He wanted to prove he was smarter than you. Take the Xavier McDaniel story. Late in a tied game, Bird points to a spot on the floor and says, "I'm going to stand right here and hit it right in your face." Xavier, one of the toughest defenders in the league, plays the best defense of his life. But Bird still gets to the spot, nails the fadeaway, and as he runs back, looks at Xavier and says, "I didn't mean to leave." 2 seconds on the clock.
They called a timeout, and he turned around and looked at me and said, "I'm going to score right here on you." And I said, "I know you will. I'll be ready."
But here's the shocking part. Nobody expected even the toughest, most violent team in history, the Detroit Bad Boys, to crack. We're talking about guys like Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn, who would literally tackle you into the front row. But Bird? They couldn't punch their way out of his mind games. Isaiah Thomas later admitted that Bird's presence caused pure panic. That panic led to one of the most famous mistakes in NBA history. It was Game 5 of the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. 5 seconds left. The Pistons were up by 1 with the ball. Basically, the game was theirs. All Isaiah had to do was inbound the ball, and Detroit would go up 3-2 in the series. But Bird had been haunting them all night. Isaiah panicked, rushed the pass, and lofted a softball toward Bill Laimbeer. Bird, who had already predicted it, stepped in, stole the ball, and fed Dennis Johnson for the win. Then it got messy. Humiliated, Rodman and Isaiah went to the media and said that if Bird were black, he'd be just another guy. Classic, narrow-minded thinking, but Bird didn't need validation. He let the game do the talking.